seeing tonight, honey?
Nina Poundlove.
Oh, I thought we were seeing Rena Poundstone.
It's me.
Honey, I thought you were taking me to see the bus.
I traded for these.
Who is this? Paula Poundstone?
Not Poundstein, Poundstein.
No, it's Paula Poundstone with a long O and a silent E. I can't believe they don't know who I am. I used to open for the Royal Lipizzan Stallions, and I wrote a lot of their stuff. Come on, I can get you in.
From San Francisco's fabulous Fillmore, HBO presents One Night Stand, starring Paula Poundstone. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Paula Poundstone.
That was very nice. Now what if I bomb? I think we're all gonna look a little silly. How are you? Good. I'm fine, thanks. I've had some tension. Last night I went home, late at night after work, and I heard someone coming down the stairs in my apartment, and no one was supposed to be there. And so I had to run out and call the police. And then when they came, I said, well, it could have been the neighbors. And of course it was. I felt sort of silly. I mean, they were their stairs as well. Just for some reason, I felt possessive of them at that hour. I guess I was just cranky with the neighbors. The other night, I actually set the alarm off in my own apartment. This is a very embarrassing thing. I set the alarm off, and the cops came, and the security guard came, and they said that since it was a false alarm, I owed the cops $25 and the security people $30. So I said, well, then it wasn't a false alarm. I'm taking stuff. You caught me. I think it's a whole lot cheaper to go to jail, perhaps. I am so nervous about crime, though. One night I was in my apartment all by myself, and all the lights went out, and I freaked out. I go, there's a guy in the basement, he flipped a switch, he's coming up to kill me, that's all there is to it. Then I looked out the window and saw the whole neighborhood was out, and I was kind of relieved, because I thought, maybe he'll start at the end of the block. I always like to think about, what could they do to you crimes anyways, what could they do to you if you just chose somebody for no good reason and followed them around singing a song from Sound of Music? You don't just ever other way. You just go, how do you solve a problem, Mike Maria? How do you catch a cloud and pin it out? When they go home at night, you don't go on their property or nothing like that. You just stand just off the edge. How do you solve a problem, Mike Maria? What can they do to you? What, are they going to call the cops? And if they do, what are they going to say? Well, she keeps singing that song. And if a cop asked me, I would just say, no, I don't even know that song. And then the cop would be forced to sing it. No, you know, how do you solve a problem? So now, I'm really glad that they're doing this series of shows in San Francisco. Because most people don't really want to park. It's the only town I know where parking is simply illegal. I think the homeless thing is sad, but to me there's nothing sadder than the fact that there are plenty of families that have homes and simply can't pull over and get to them. It's so frustrating. I've gotten to a point where I don't even look for a legal space. I just pull up and park illegally right away. I consider it a $20 space. If you accept the ticket in your heart ahead of time, you're not that upset when you get back to the car. And I'm not a good driver, so if I circle and look for a space, I'll get a moving violation anyways. Figure this way here, I'm saving lives. I actually get pulled over for drunk driving, and I don't drink. No, I don't want to drink and drive, but at the same time, I wish that I had something to say to the cop. I feel like an idiot just going, no, sir, officer, just a lousy driver. Just couldn't really keep it in between them bumpy thingies on the road, I guess. The other day, actually, I parked in a street cleaning space, because there was no other space. And so I left it there with a note on the windshield that said, no, leave it. I'll get this area. Because I love to vacuum. And I would have been happy to do that. Where is, I see your Santa Anita hat. Is that a race place? Horse track? Yeah. Are you a gambling man? Oh, yeah. Bet I don't kick you. Bet you do. I go to the track sometimes. I like to bet on like the long shot when I go to the track, you know? Like, you know, something that probably won't happen, but if it does, you're gonna get a lot of money, you know? Like number 8 to stop in the middle and get silly. It probably won't happen, but boy, if it does. I know a little bit about handicapping. What you want to look for in terms of the horse, when they go into the gate, if the horse has an IV, then you want to stay away from that horse. I like to go to the track. I don't care about like most professional sports in terms of viewing, you know. One night I was working in California, and which is where we are, and I knew that. Just a quick reality location check, that's all. I was gonna say California, and then if a lot of people went. One night I was working in actually Hermosa Beach, California. I didn't even realize. Are you from there? Do you swim in the ocean there? Yeah. I swim in the bay here in San Francisco, you know, and that's some scary stuff. So, you know what I think would be the bravest thing in the whole world? Would be to swim in the ocean with the underwater Walkman and the soundtrack of Jaws. When I'm swimming in the ocean, if I kick myself, I freak out. I'm like, oh. You don't live there now, Hermosa Beach? Where do you live now? San Francisco, just a little reality check for you. And what do you do here? You're a waitress where at? It's an Italian restaurant in Union Square, and are you unable to give us the actual title at this time? What do you work for, Chaos? Aren't you the waitress I saw talking into your shoe in the parking lot earlier? I thought I recognized you. Well, you're Barbara Felton's big nemesis. So I was working in Hermosa Beach, California. And a woman, no, it was a guy, excuse me, in the back of the room. I mentioned that I was from Massachusetts, and the guy in the back of the room shouted out, "The Celtics cheat." I thought it was sort of a funny thing. I said, "Yes, sir, that's exactly what the Celtics do. They cheat. They're in a big stadium with another team, a bunch of referees, a stadium full of people, and television cameras. I'll bet you they cheat all the time." Probably like Larry Bird goes up for the shot, it goes off the rim. He goes, "What? It went in." I've never understood people that get that tense about professional sports, you know? Like, I'm from Boston, but the Celtics are not my friends. We don't hang out. I don't care if they win or not. It's mostly people paid a whole ton of money to play for cities they're not even from anyways. I think if they want to make the games exciting in professional sports, what they should do is recruit the players the way they get people for jury duty. So you just go out to your mailbox one day and it's like, I gotta play. Even I'd stay in shape for a thing like that. I don't have any kids of my own. I probably never will, but I have little kid roommates here in San Francisco, actually. And last time I babysat, I am not good with kids. Last time I babysat, I told them it was time for them to take a nap, because it was time for them to take a nap. And they got all mad and started to cry. Can you remember when you didn't want to sleep? Isn't that inconceivable now? I was just like staring at them like they're not even from this planet. I mean, I guess that's the definition of adulthood right there, is that you want to sleep. If a 3-year-old came up to me and said, "Listen, I am beat. I have been at the Legos for an hour. The big wheel is jackknifed at the end of the driveway. I'll tell you what, I am just gonna crash in the back room. I'd be like, my, but you are mature. These kids, they don't know me very well. There's two of them. And they don't know me very well because I'm only here every so often for a couple days. So to them, I'm sort of a weird aunt, you know. The last time I visited them, we went out to dinner, and their parents had sort of stepped away in the lobby of the restaurant for something. And I don't know why I did this, just to be a jerk, I guess. But I looked down at these two kids and I go, you know, my head comes off. And they're 4 and 5 at the time, and they really didn't want to believe me, but they did. The youngest one's kind of a smart ass anyway, so he goes, oh yeah, well then take it off. So I said, not here, I don't want to frighten the earthlings. The other kid decides he's going to use some child psychology on me, so he said, my head comes off too. He said, my zipper's off, how does yours come off? I said, well, mine is like an aspirin lid. You have to line up the arrows so that little kids can't take it off in the middle of the night when I'm asleep. I can't wait to babysit again. You know they're just gonna be staring at my head the whole night. I don't have kids, I have cats. Actually, all 3 of my cats had to go to the vet last week because they had fleas. Which I felt really bad because I live in a 1-bedroom apartment and my cats don't go out. So if they got fleas, then it means they got them from me. Kind of felt like an ass making them wear the collars. Sorry, fellas, they don't come in my size. Actually, my small black cat, Baloo, was injured in an earthquake last summer. This is what happened during the earthquake. She ran into the fireplace. Because apparently that's what it says to do in the little kitty emergency manual. It's a horrible thing. She got a big rip up her side. I have to put her in the vet. She was in the shop for like 2 weeks. I get her out again, and the vet has put one of those Elizabethan collars on her head. Are you familiar with these? It looks like a funnel. It looks like she was yelling into a megaphone and became overzealous. Cheerleader cat now. It was the saddest thing because when I brought her home, you know, I only had one other cat at the time, and my other cat did not so much like the funnel-headed cat anymore. So they fought all the time. One day I heard some angry words exchanged. Funnel head was shouted. And my healthy cat comes running out of the room. My other cat had poked her in the eyes. Now, if you're ever considering just going like that to your cat on a lark, don't do it. It was $350 for the first treatment. She got scratched corneas on both eyes. I had to bring her to the vet. She was in for a week in the shop. I get her out. The vet has put a funnel on her head. I had 2 funnel-headed cats. And they can't, you know, they put them on there so they can't lick the wound. Well, they can't lick the wound, but they also can't bathe. And the reason cats usually bathe all the time is because they are filthy animals. So now I have these hideous, wretched, disgusting, smelly things with kitchen implements on their heads, trying to sleep as close to me as they possibly can at night. And though they can't bathe, what they can do is lick the inside of that funnel really loudly. And all night long, all I can hear is and God forbid they should purr. It's like, is there a tractor outside? Do we have any Helen Reddy fans here? Okay, now I think that's weird. I'm the only Helen Reddy fan in the whole room? So that scares me, because I don't believe her popularity has waned so much as I believe that many of her fans have been killed. That could be the case, you know, because they don't ask that when someone's killed. You know, the cops say, like, who are his enemies? Who did he owe money to? They never say, did he like Helen Reddy? So as far as we know, the Helen Reddy killer could still be at large. That's kind of scary, isn't it? You're all looking at me like you're not scared at all. I dare one of you to walk down the street right now whistling Ruby Red Dress. Healthcare is so expensive nowadays. I was working in Boston, I got laryngitis, and I had to go to a clinic $57 I pay some woman to say, you shouldn't talk. I go, I have to talk, I have to work. And she said, you shouldn't work. I go, I have to work. And she actually said, would a note from me help? I go, well, of course, it's always good to hear from you, but no. Somebody told me when you're losing your memory like this, it is called short-term memory loss. I like to think of it as presidential eligibility. By the way, Bush is not my president. Not my president. That's my feeling. He's not my president, you know? I'm not doing anything he says. I'm not. If he wants me to do something, fine. He can call Dukakis and he can tell me. Remember Dukakis? Seems like ages ago, doesn't it? Damn it, what happened? I'm a little down about it. The other night I went home, stood up on my couch, tied the cord from my curtain around my neck, jumped off the couch, and the curtain's open. Very suicidal. I decided I want to do a remake of that movie, It's a Wonderful Life, where in the beginning I jump off the bridge and the angel rescues me and shows me what life would have been like without me. Only it turns out it really would have been a whole lot better. And the angel is forced to apologize. That's the part I kind of like. Just spacing off for no good reason right now. I'm telling you, my memory is completely gone. Yesterday, I ate half a bag of those molasses crisp cookies from Pepperidge Farm before I remembered that those aren't the kind that I like. And I was forced to complete an entire bag of the distinctive Bordeaux. I do eat those by the bag as well, you know. You know, the way they package these things, you know they've tested this on, like, chimpanzees or something. Whenever I open those Pepperidge Farm cookies, I tell myself I will just eat one section. You know, and then I eat the section, and then there's that, like, cupcake wrapper paper in there, and then I'm like, okay, well, that's messy. Get that out of there. Fine, now there's another section in there. You guys got apples on your table? You went to a nightclub and brought apples? They gave them to you? Who eats apples in a nightclub? What happened to heroin? I hate to see this happening. Now you have a Mickey Mouse shirt on. Where did you get it at? Union Square in the city? So it's probably discounted. You know how cheap that area can be. Because, you know, if there's one thing San Francisco's not known for, it's ripping off tourists. I do get kind of lonely. I travel a lot, stay in hotels all the time. Don't get a lot of sleep because of that. I stay in the hotel, you know, I put the do not disturb sign up, and the maid knocks on the door. Now, maybe I don't speak the language, but to me, that's disturbing. I still put the sign up there, because, you know, I figure without that, she'll do something really disturbing. Like come in naked with firecrackers or something. Apparently, I'm getting off easy with this knocking thing. Anybody ever stay in a hotel where they have it also in the different languages? So they have something on the sign that looks like no moleste? Yeah, well, I think that goes without saying. You mean if I don't put that sign up there, that's an option? I'm just gonna want to check into the desk. And yeah, just in general, no moleste. Well, you know, I've been so busy. I checked into a hotel the other day, and the girl behind the counter, she said, do you have a floor preference? I go, yeah, I would like a floor. Apparently they can just suspend you from the ceiling now. No, I would like a floor. And she got all impatient. She goes, no, what level? I go, well, sorry, obviously I'm not that bright. How about beginner? didn't know they could divide you up that way. Apparently that's so that in the event of a hotel fire, they can get the smart people out first. While the stupid people are still upstairs collecting the little soaps and trying to get them hangers off the rod. And boy, have you ever seen engineering and design like goes into the hangars in a hotel? I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's like scientists have labored for months and years on these things. Apparently that's where hotels were losing the big money there for a while, was in the hangar theft. Strikes me as a little odd. I stand in Denver in a hotel with a very slow elevator, which makes me cranky. You know, I don't even think it was mechanically operated. I think there was just a couple old guys underneath pushing. Because when it would go by the floors, you wouldn't hear like the click click sound. You just hear, you got it? Yeah, I got it. See, they got that vent in the ceiling. You know what that's for? That's so this building flips over and then floods. No, and that could happen because the other day my flight was on time when I found my luggage, so some weird shit has been happening. I swear. You know what I always think is weird is they don't lose your luggage. Your luggage is somewhere. You don't lose it. You know? I've got to a point where I just check my luggage to another city anyways. I can figure if it's not going with me, it may as well go to a nice place. You know, I just pack some light things and send it to Hawaii, maybe. The only thing that bothers me about the whole baggage thing is when you go into the baggage claim and a lot of people have lost bags and there's only one person working the baggage claim. That's a little absurd to me. Makes me tense. One time in Boston, I lost my bags. I waited an hour and there were a whole ton of people behind me and just one older woman working the baggage claim. And she said the greatest question I've ever heard. I said to her, well, I lost, it was one big suitcase. And she said, do you need it? Isn't that a wonderful baggage claim question? Like somebody, you know, if even one person fell for it, it was going to save her just that much work, you know? Like somebody might just become a Buddhist right there and renounce all material goods. Why, no, I don't need it. Material things are wrong. Could you shave my head now? That's probably how they get all those religious nutcases in the airport to begin with. Remember elementary school? I remember the first day like it was yesterday. You know? Because the stuff they said made no sense whatsoever. They said stuff like, if you want to talk, you have to raise your hand. I'd be talking to the guy next to me going, I think this is weird. And the teacher used to say stuff like, in elementary school, they said, like, you have to get the notes from a neighbor. I kept knocking on some old guy's house next door. I go, yeah, she said you'd have the math. I thought it was odd myself. I took a year of high school French. All I can do is ask how Monique is. Someday I'm gonna go to France and I'm gonna find Monique. I'm gonna tell her we have an entire country full of high school kids over here worried to death about her. She could call. Actually, you know what? I went to Italy this summer, and I don't speak the language, and it was awful. It was so frightening. Have you ever been there? The driving was terrifying to me. I don't know. If there were lanes, there was certainly no lane usage. All I saw was many cars coming at each other at a rapid pace. And a friend of mine said, oh, I should have loaned you my phrase book. I go, you know, most of the phrases I need to say were not going to be in that book. And how quickly could I look them up to use them anyways? Like, how quickly can you look up? I think we just hit someone. Should we go back? Now here I started to explain to you the design feature of this. This vent is in the ceiling. So if this building flips over and then floods, that half the people here that believe that God will save us can stay here. And the rest of us can shove Shelley Winter's butt through there and go on ahead. All right, well, I guess it is kind of time for me to go. They're going to yell at me in a minute. Oh, a little late to suck up now. This woman is nodding her head along with me like, right. I like that, how you come to my defense. I like that very much. Would you protect me from the Helen Reddy killer? I'm so afraid of crime because they've legalized it now. Do you remember, and this was a while ago, but do you remember that 560-pound criminal who was released? His name was JoJo. He was released from jail because he had asthma, so jail was bad for him. Who made up this rule? I thought that was the whole idea, was that jail was at least supposed to be a little bit bad for you. Apparently not anymore. Apparently now it's like, sorry, got claustrophobia, can't go, wish I could, sorry. Electric chair, no way, even a heating pad gives me a rash. Then they let Hinckley go, and Sirhan, the guy who shot Robert Kennedy, he's up for parole like every year now or something. Not only that, he told the parole board that he thought if Kennedy were alive today, he would speak in his favor and say, let the guy go. What a tough break, huh? The one guy who would have supported this guy, and he shot him. Thank you very much. You guys have been great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Guy with a $500 hat. The Pope. Oh!
It's that time of week again.
To make love is such a beautiful thing, especially to do it with another person, huh?
We're talking serious stand-up.
Have you noticed Mick Jagger is starting to look like Don Knotts?
Catch Don Herrera in front of a live audience for a one-night stand. Premieres Wednesday on HBO.
They're going on with a sex change operation. Transistor. Ooh.
Hurry, hurry, step right this way, children of all ages, for the Magic Circus, Cirque du Soleil. They reinvented the circus, next on HBO.
The brightest stars, the biggest hits. HBO, the best movies.
Are you bored with your afterlife?
We're very unhappy. What did you expect? You're dead.
Then there's only one name to call.
Beetlejuice?
I'm the ghost with the most, babe.
You want a cigarette?
Oh, no, thank you.
Michael Keaton.
Can you be scary?
What do you think of this? You like it?
Beetlejuice.
Today on HBO.
I'm feeling a little, anxious, if you know what I mean.
Here come the judge. Judge Reinhold, that is.
Awesome!
He's gone from VP to HP.
Calhoun, High School Patrol.
And Fred Savage gets a future look at his wonder years.
I am not me, and my father is not him.
Comprende?
Wonder how they got that way?
Guess I'll just have to buy the album.
A hilarious out-of-body experience.
It's a Freudian nightmare.
Oh, boy.
vice versa. Wednesday on HBO.